All right, Adam Trigger here. It is time for Under the Radar, our new daily Major League Baseball free pick show right here on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. First of all, I appreciate everyone that's tuned in so far this week. Each day, the viewership has climbed, and I think some of you guys are sort of finding this out on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. So thank you for tuning in, and I want this to sort of be an accompaniment to Total Bases. So I'm always going to try to do my best to cover something on this segment that we did not cover on Total Bases. And the concept of Under the Radar comes from the fact that I'm also going to look at guys that maybe aren't on your radar. I obviously bet a ton of AAA baseball. I watch AAA baseball sort of religiously. And so I feel like sometimes I've got a good beat on someone coming up. And those are the type of guys that we will target on this segment. Yesterday, we talked about Bubba Chandler. Now, I will always tag what I consider to be like the segment best bet or the thing that I like the most on my free pick page. So head on over to wagertalk.com. You can find this segment under the free picks tab. And yesterday, we tagged the Pirates on the money line. So Chandler pitched okay, but the Pirates, the offense showed up. He actually didn't give up a hit over 4 1/3. He just had some walks. But I think his strikeouts probably got there. But more importantly, the bet that I tagged, the Pirates, was a winner. So we're going to talk about Twins-Royals today. A couple reasons I chose this game. One, I'm typically going to choose, just based on the time we film this segment, I'm typically going to choose games that are at night. So I'll try to, more than likely going to avoid day games in this segment. And there's only a couple to choose from tonight. But I thought this was a good one to touch on for a couple of reasons. One, we didn't talk any Twins-Royals on Total Bases earlier today. And two, if I was doing this segment in previous years, Royals pitcher Noah Cameron would have been a guy that would have come up over and over and over again for being under the radar. And now this is an interesting dynamic. I wonder how many times this will happen. He's done nothing wrong at this point, but because we were so ahead of the curve on him and he pitched so good last year, he's coming into this year, and I feel like I've got to swing the other way on him in terms of I think he's kind of overvalued based on what he did last year. So under the radar last year, Noah Cameron all day. I think we played on him his first couple times in the league. To stay up and really never regress last year for as long as he did. 24 starts at the big league level, 2.99 ERA, accumulated 138 and a third innings, and had a 110 whip, was extremely impressive. But when you look at the underlying metrics for Cameron from last year, really good breaking ball. He really, the reason, in my opinion, he had so much success last year was the league could not figure out his breaking stuff. Of course, he's a lefty. We've kind of talked about this before on Total Bases, where Brian Leonard always says he'll give more of a nod to a lefty coming up. They tend to have better results out of the gate. I don't know how anecdotal that is, but I guess going off of memory, I mean, you get a lefty with some crafty stuff that no one knows that the league hasn't seen. Yeah, I guess they tend to typically do well. So kind of makes sense. And his breaking ball pitching run value on Baseball Savant last year for his breaking pitches. So for the curveball is what he's throwing 19% of the time. Had a 99th percentile. That's as good as its top. That is literally the top mark for starting pitchers. It's in the top 1% of starting pitchers in the big leagues. But the problem here for me with Cameron, and why I'm going to make a case to go against him today, his fastball sort of grades out as poor. Fastball velocity, bottom 20%. Strikeout rate, K rate, bottom 30%. And his expected ERA last year, even though he posted that sub 3 ERA, 2.99, his expected ERA was 4.07. And then I'll combine that with the eye test. And I think for me, it goes back to, maybe the lack of swing and miss. Swing and miss was fine, but he doesn't get a ton of chase. So it's like really the swing and miss on the pitches where you could put a batter away. Not in the top, not in the top half of the league for starting pitching. It kind of has me looking to fade him. Now, just to give an under the radar spin, I think the Twins are very undervalued this year. I think they're a very under the radar team in the American League. So I haven't decided which one I like the best. And that's why you've got to go to the free pick page on my page at Wager Talk, wt.buzz/AT, to see which one I tag as sort of the best bet. But I really couldn't put you off of anything sort of Noah Cameron under correlated here. Noah Cameron fade correlated, meaning maybe over on the hits. So hits allowed over is looks like 4.5, comes with some juice. His under strikeouts, 4.5, also juice. That's to like minus 130. I think the way I might go with this one, because I could see the Twins kind of jumping on him right off the rip. I think the way I might go is the over earned runs allowed. So right now, Noah Cameron over 2.5 earned runs is plus money, plus 107, plus 105, plus 110. I see, like, depending on what book you've got, it's in that 105 to plus 105 to plus 110 range. I think the Twins are going to get to him before the Royals can get him out of this game. So that is kind of where I'm going to land on this. And it goes back to that expected ERA last year being above 4, but him coming out with a sub 3. He wasn't sub 3 by much, 2.99, but 2.99 for a starting pitcher that had 138 innings pitched at the big league level last year is borderline elite. And, he's averaging well under a strikeout per inning, 114 strikeouts and 138 and a third innings pitched. I would just be really, really surprised if those same numbers, the sub a strikeout per inning, and, having a fastball that grades out in the bottom 20% of the league, I just don't know if that translates to the numbers he put up last year. And then add into the fact that the league has now seen him for a year, and then take it one step further. The Twins have seen him a ton. Why? Because, St. Paul and Omaha play all the time at the AAA level. And then, of course, the Twins and the Royals share a division at the big league level. So if anyone is going to be super familiar or start to sort of crack the code, start to figure out how to stay off that curveball and hit the lesser stuff, it's going to be a team like the Twins that have arguably had more exposure to him than anyone, because a lot of this Twins lineup was with him down in AAA. It's a very young Twins lineup that I think has probably seen Cameron more than any other team in the league at this point. The only teams that maybe have a little bit more exposure to him would be the White Sox. And you know what? I'm going off of memory here, but I'm pretty sure the team that blew him up finally toward the end of last season was the White Sox. And the reason I say that is because I think I lost that bet. And I'm pretty sure I had the Royals with Cameron, got my hand caught in the cookie jar there, because I'm obviously was pro White Sox last year, pro White Sox this year. And I think they sort of blew him up in one of those final September starts, maybe foreshadowing what's to come this year, especially when he's pitching in the division against teams that have had tons of exposure to him. So I'm going to take the over 2.5 earned runs for Noah Cameron. That will be our under the radar free play of the day. I have 4% plays in both MLB and college basketball tonight. I've got a college basketball play in the Crown tournament that starts today. Believe those games are on Fox Sports 1 tonight out in Vegas. And I have a 4% MLB play as well. Both of those are up on my page. great double play special that we have where you can choose 2 MLB handicappers that are on the Total Bases show, either myself, Tokyo Brandon, or Brian Leonard, for pretty much the price of one. So check those out, and we will be back right here tomorrow. Also, drop in the comments. Today I didn't have as much to choose from because there wasn't as many night games. Drop in the comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know who's under the radar for you. Maybe you've got your eye on someone, that's coming up the ranks, that's in the farm system, that maybe just got called up to the bigs that I haven't, dug in deep enough or paid as much of attention to, and we can talk about him on the segment. So check that out. And again, I will be back here tomorrow. We're going to run this Monday through Saturday. So Sunday will be a dark day for programming. We don't do the show on Sunday either. And then, we'll do this 6 days a week. Check that out. And again, I've got 2 4% plays tonight that I really love. One is in college basketball. One is in MLB. You can get both as part of the 1-day pass, which is on my Wager Talk page as well. And we'll see you guys tomorrow for more Under the Radar.